I'm Jim Drayle. I've been with Joe Crump's program for about 5 years, and I head up the team leader program with the coaching students. You're watching the late night television, and you see the commercials for real estate investors, or you read stuff in the paper. And I came to when I met Joe, I came with some of that stuff. I came with some of those thoughts about being a real estate investor, especially no money down. And you're thinking that you must be taking advantage of somebody to get this done and for you to be able to make money, and nothing could be further from the truth. When I met Joe, I was recovering from a back surgery, so I had been completely sort of ruined in my life. I mean, I had gone from being a filmmaker. I had gone from building up a really good career that took me about 10 years, and in basically one fell swoop was shot down. I was hurt. I couldn't work anymore. I had to go through bankruptcy. I had a lot of financial trouble. I had a lot of pain. And so in one very short moment, I went from doing very well to being in a jam. As it happens, a good friend of mine, Billy, who I work with in the film business, had asked me if I wanted to shoot a film for a friend of his in Indianapolis, who ended up being Joe Crump, by the way. And all I knew about the shoot, all I knew about it was that Joe was an investment teacher, and that he wanted to do an example video with one of his students. And that's basically all the information that I had. But I was at home raising a couple of kids at the time, so I went from running film sets to running my house and 2 little toddlers. So I would have done just about anything to get out of my house, so I gladly agreed to do all that. So we drove down to Indianapolis, and I met Joe for the first time, and Joe said, one of my students is what we're going to try and do here over the next 3 days is one of my students, Azam, is going to try and buy $1 million worth of property. We're never going to use our own money, and we're never going to use our own credit. And again, I probably brought a lot of baggage to that as well. I'd seen the late night television commercials. I'd read a couple of books and this and that on investing. I assumed basically, we would be having to take advantage of people to get that done. And, I knew it was doable. So I was interested on one level, but then again, I really did expect that. I don't know what I expected, but I expected something different than what happened. We decided to try for 3 days and try and buy $1 million worth of property. And anybody who knows anything about filming, we were shooting with 3 cameras. We had audio problems, difficulty setting up, all kinds of production issues. And so we went really late into the first day before we even really got started. And I remember calling my wife and saying that I didn't, I wasn't really sure how this was going to go. By the end of the second day, we had done $2.3 million worth of property. I think that was 13 houses, about $355,000 worth of hard equity on deals that we had done. We never left the office in Indianapolis. We never used money or credit to do any of those things. So number one, I think that was one of the first most shocking things, that could be done. And not only could it be done, but I watched it get done. I filmed it, and I got to listen to it. And I edited it too, so I spent about 100 hours with it. So I got to listen to it over and over and over again. But and that was the first surprising thing. The thing that really surprised me, the thing that really shocked me, that I didn't expect, to be honest, was that the people who we were doing deals with, we helped. I mean, there were people, I knew enough about real estate to know that the people that we were talking to were really in a jam. And there wasn't anybody else who could come in and help them. Real estate agents, these people weren't in a position where anybody else could help them. These people, these specific people, they all needed help. And we were really the only people who could help them. And so that first day, I remember at the end of the second day, my memory of it was this. I called my wife up and I said, I know what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. Now, my wife's reply was, it sounds like you joined a cult. And I said, you know, I know what it sounds like, but you have to see it because it's amazing. And truly, that was the most incredible thing. And I don't know, you know, at that point, I didn't know what really to expect. But I knew it worked because I saw it work live. I got to listen to it work. I watched the faxes and the contracts come over from all over the country. And that part was amazing. I saw and I got to listen to people on the phone who were elated that they were getting a phone call that we were helping them because nobody else had helped them. And that stuff was shocking to me. 5 years later, what I learned most, or that I find most interesting about this business at all, is not only do I get to do that, because I came from a business where, I mean, the film business and the music business aren't the most friendly businesses in the entire free world. As a matter of fact, they're pretty rough businesses to grow up in. And I got to do something where I made really good money and I got to help people. And what I really love about this business is not only can I make a really good living doing it, and not only can I help people, but it gives me time. I get to choose how to live my life, and that's a whole different concept. And, you know, it's not the first thing people think about when they get into this. And you know, when they get into this, it's about making some money and making yourself stable. What I really love about this business is that not only does it make me stable, it gives me time, it gives me my life. It really does. Because you can make money, but if you're tied to a job that you never get to leave or that you don't like, what's it worth? Really? I mean, what's it worth? This allows me to do something that I really like. It allows me to help people every day. So I get to do something that I enjoy. I love helping people. I get a kick out of that. The fact that I can make good money doing that is excellent. And the unbeatable part of it is that I can help people and I get to live my life the way that I want to. I get to stay home every day and see my kids off to school. And so does my wife. I get to watch my kids come home from school every day. And I get to spend time with them the way I want to. And I can run a really successful business doing all of that. So that is the most remarkable thing about this business. And the most grateful, and for that, being able to do that, I couldn't have asked to have met a better person or work with a better group. Because it's funny, I always say that, you know, you always try and pick a destination or in your life that you want to get to. And that usually includes, choosing a path to walk down to get there. I could have never have chose the path that I got to, that I used to get where I'm at right now. But I couldn't be more grateful for all of the stuff that happened, even the bad stuff. I mean, I went through surgery. I went through, I went through some really hard money times. I went through some really bad problems. My family, I mean, we had it hard for a while, and I wouldn't trade any of it. My wife and I were just talking about that, and I have to say, I wouldn't trade any of it because it got me to where I am at now, and I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier. The time that I get to spend with my family and being able to do that comfortably is bar none the best thing in the world. So I've got the best job in the world.